Asha Sharma is cleaning house. This is the transparency we've been hoping for. How y'all been watching me? I've been saying for ages, I like Asha. She says a lot of the right things. I like a lot of what she's saying, but I want to see action. And to be fair, she's given us some action before, but it wasn't enough. Now we can discuss whether this is enough, but this is still the level of transparency that I think that all gaming companies should have, and then some. Let's read through this. This is from Asha directly. This is from her ex. This is an important email I sent today to all employees at Xbox. And we're going to go through this bit by bit. We're going to commentate on this a lot. UF Omega with a 5-banger. I'm messing with you. Easy mistake to make. Like waking up next to a furry. I don't know if that's an easy mistake to make, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the 5-banger. I'll play some clips after we go through some of these. We are beginning the most significant restructure in Xbox history. Right off the gate. Out the gate. This is the first sentence, son. If you watch the Friday stream, Sevi asked a very important question. Will there be a restructuring? Because we knew about the layoffs. We knew the layoffs were coming. She asked, what about the restructuring? Great question. Because they need it. They need to do it out the gate. Confirmation. Top-down restructuring. Look, I don't like consoles. I'm a PC master race type motherfucker. That being said, I hate Sony so goddamn much. I want to see Xbox take all the dubs just to say fuck you to Sony with everything they've been pulling. With everything they've been pulling for the last, 36 hours or so, maybe a little bit more than that. I want to see them ground into the dust. So restructuring is good. After careful consideration, I've made the difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 throughout fiscal year 27. Now, I'll be real, I was hoping for a bigger number. I was hoping again, like full Dragon Ball style. It's over 9,000. That's what I was hoping for. But I'll take this. This is a nice, good start. 3,200 worthless motherfuckers that have contributed to nothing but the degradation of the gaming space, of course, the last 10 years or more, losing their jobs. I'm down, son. That's a good start. Also, difficult decision. That's funny. No, it wasn't. It was not a difficult decision. You want to know how we know it wasn't a difficult decision? Because the shit she goes on to say later in this email. This email is damning. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today. Today. Guys, this came out today. This tweet dropped. That means as we stand on July 6th of 2026, Xbox just lost 1,600 motherfuckers. Walked in today, not knowing it'd be their last day. I'm hoping that's HR. I'm hoping that's middle management. I'm hoping that's DEI hires who only got hired because of their skin color or what fucking body parts they had or who they like to fuck. They don't actually know how to code. Cut the fat. Trim the fat. Dude, the only time you need fat is on a fucking steak. And the other time, you trim that fucking fat. In addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day, and I want to be direct about the scale. I can't recall last time I saw something like this. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just twisting history. Maybe I'm misremembering because I was quite a bit young at the time. Last time I saw transparent moves being made like this was when Nintendo brought in Reggie Fils-Aimé. And Reggie came in and Reggie shook shit up and he was blatant about it. He was brutal about it. He had this like edge to him that was almost unheard of, especially for Nintendo of America at the time. This might be the biggest shakeup in gaming since Reggie Fils-Aimé. I can't think of another one in between them. Not saying there wasn't one, but I can't think of one in between them. I know this is painful. These changes will directly affect people who have poured their creativity into building Xbox. Nah, that's fluff. That's fluff. No one gives a shit. Nobody cares. Yeah, it'll directly affect people who poured their creativity. There's been no creativity into building Xbox. It's the old Tolkien quote. Evil cannot create. Evil can only destroy what good has created. And that is what is happening to Xbox. Honestly, in every era post 360. Many joined us through acquisitions, while others were recruited here or sought out because they loved this industry and loved Xbox. Today's decisions do not reflect their talent or dedication. Oh, I'm sure it reflects some of them. I'm sure it reflects. Look, here's the dealio, man. You don't cut 1,600 jobs, or what was it, 1,200 a day? Hold on. Yeah, 1,600 jobs and go forward to cut up to 3,200 jobs if there was talent there. Because you're going to be keeping the talented ones. That's the way the industry works. That's the way the industry should have always worked. You keep the talented ones. You cut the dead fucking weight. Think of it like a zombie apocalypse, right? You got 10 people in your crew. You got someone that knows how to treat wounds. You got someone who knows how to be a charismatic leader. You got someone that knows how to be a goddamn marksman. You got someone who knows, like hunting and gathering and tracking skills. When you got that one dumb broad that trips over every branch and she's always crying and she's being loud and she's drawing the zombies to your attention, shit like that. Nah. You let that bitch get eaten and you keep fucking moving. It's that simple. You let that bitch go the way of the T-virus and you keep trucking on. Cut the dead weight. There was no creativity there. Our business today is not healthy. Oh, shit! She just out there saying it, son. When was the last time you heard a CEO just straight up be like, "Yep, business failing. Business failing. We not doing too good out here in them streets, boys." You want to know the biggest bitch of the bunch here? The biggest bitch of the bunch. This goes against everything I've ever said. Like, I've talked about being a misogynist, how I want to see women in power. This bitch doing what not Jim Ryan, where homie's last name was. I'm blanking on it. Like, anytime you get an actual good story about a strong female character, I'm talking good stories, T2, Alien, Tomb Raider, old school Resident Evil. When you have these stories with actual strong, capable females, and then that's not how women actually work in real life, this disproves that. I'm not saying it's common, and I'm not saying I want to see them all the time. But I am saying that broken clocks be right twice a day. She's coming out here. She's actively saying our business today is not healthy. No shit. We've been saying that for a decade. Phil Spencer, by the way, not Jim Ryan, Phil Spencer. We've been saying that for a decade. And now, of all people, a woman CEO is admitting it. That's crazy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. That's ridiculous. Like if it were, let's say the Xbox were not owned by Microsoft, right? There was its own just, scrappy first-party developer. It didn't have the subsidization of a major player in the tech space like Microsoft. They'd be done. They'd be gone. They could not have operated numbers like these. 3 to 10 times. That is insane. Yeah, she's telling the truth. I can't believe it. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. Remember when all of us were talking about how bad Game Pass was for the industry? When all of us were talking about how, why would people buy games if you could just play it day one on a subscription service that was like $15 a month or something? Now, granted, Game Pass has gotten way more expensive, which has, of course, led to a lot of people canceling it. But anybody with any goddamn common sense was saying from the get-go for a long time now, that's not going to work. These games have millions upon millions of dollar budgets behind them. What's the game coming out soon? That's like a $400 million budget behind it. I mean, fuck. GTA 6, well, I know is the exception, not the rule. Most games, nearly no games have this, but $2 billion budget. A $2 billion budget. Even for these games that have $200 million, $400 million budgets, and then you're going to just let people play that effectively for free on Game Pass, they're never going to buy it. Why would they buy it? They've got Game Pass. How many of these content creators, these industry shills, like Booty Adams from the Spawn on Me podcast, no, everything's fine. Xbox is doing great. Now, these chuds know what they're talking about. Oh, hey, I got gifted mixtape. I got gifted South of Midnight. You know, I got all the swag and the goodies, and I get to talk about how great these games are. And then when people ask him, well, how much was the game? Was it worth it? Oh, I don't know. I played on Game Pass. He actively said that about multiple games. I don't know. I played on Game Pass. So you were sent the swag, which of course costs all that money. You shilled for these companies. You shilled for these games. And you didn't even have the good goddamn courtesy to play the game not on Game Pass. And you wonder, and Xbox wonders why they're in the situation they're in. They're out here effectively saying, yeah, Game Pass has value. I'm not even saying it doesn't, by the way. I'm not saying Game Pass doesn't have value. But to put your flagship AAA games on there day one, we all knew was fucking retarded. Goes on to say, while those businesses have created I got that already. Let's see. While they've created meaningful value, they did not grow the place we expected. Yeah, as that happened, our core business weakened, and we added more teams, more investment, more time, hoping for a better outcome. Let me explain that for you guys. We spent a lot more money thinking we got to spend money to make money, except for they didn't improve the quality of their product in any way, shape, or form. They did not market in any more advanced way to bring new people in. Basically, they were just burning money. And they're admitting they are burning fucking money. Or at least they were. And now the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in its history. We must reset Xbox. Correct. You must. You certainly must. Now, how are you going to do that? Is the Helix going to be more than $1,000 after everybody was complaining about the Steam Deck? Is it going to have a disk drive? I'm curious about that. How are you going to reset Xbox? Now, you're laying off a bunch of people. That's a good start. You're axing some studios. That's a good start. You're restructuring the studios. That's a good start. There's a lot of good in here. Is it going to be enough? That's the question. And no, I don't want to say I don't want to see Xbox deleted. I don't. I'm a big fan of the free market. I'm a big fan of capitalism. I'm a big fan of competition within the market. While I want to see the industry burn to the ground, that is technically what this is. Asha's coming in, and she is burning down Xbox as we know it. But that could allow it to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And I love that idea. I do. I love the idea that she's coming in, she's cleaning house and saying the days of just throwing money at shit and hiring people willy-nilly and buying studios, those days are done. We focus on games. We focus on gamers. We focus on talent, not acquisitions, not throwing money. Look at how Sony is acting with Xbox failing these last few years. Imagine if Xbox was completely gone. They would legit become the devil. Bingo, bango, bongo. Exactly. Without Xbox, without Sony, without Nintendo. Now, to be fair, Sony is already evil as fuck. Xbox has never been evil, mind you. At least no more than any other massive conglomeration. They've just been stupid. They've just been fucking dumb. Sony's been outright evil. But we need all these multiple players in the ecosystem to drive competition. And we've not been seeing competition. We've been seeing, the game developers conference, the GDC, all buddy, all happy-go-lucky. We haven't seen them competing with one another. We haven't seen, like Wizard so aptly pointed out in his E3 video, all three of the major companies, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, under the same roof at the same conference at E33, having direct competition where they've got butts in seats and you can hear who's cheering and who isn't. Asha knows. She's locked in. First, we'll reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we've aggressively expanded our studio portfolio, while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. Yes, there's an oversaturation of the market. There's an oversaturation of the market, which is hilarious because it's being carried on the back of indie and AA games. Because it's taken y'all 6 to 8 years to make a fucking first-party AAA game. A game that nobody cares about, mind you. A game that people aren't going to play. Fable? Who the fuck gives a shit about Fable? No one. Did I say E33 instead of E3? I meant E3. Thank you. If you guys didn't know, I was playing E33 earlier. Still on the noggin. I'm like 8 trophies away from having the plat. Anyway. Yes. What we're looking at right here is basically her acknowledging that AAA games, they ain't doing shit. It's all being sold on the backs of AA and indie. Like Hypno. Mecha Chameleon passed 15 million copies sold. 15 milli for an indie game that came out of nowhere. How are you making any sort of income on your trip? You've got all these studios. You acquired these studios. You built these other studios. How are you making any sort of money when it takes 6 to 8 years to get a first fucking party game out there? How many engines do you go through? How many changes and alterations? How many games are supposed to come out on one platform? They got shifted to the next because of technology outpaced it. So you effectively had to start from scratch. How many times you've been bringing in more and more developers? How much money is wasted going to middle management and to HR? No, absolute loser behavior. And she's acknowledging that. We've got more video games each month across the industry now, outpacing the last 10 years combined. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with smaller independent studios. Again, Mecha Chameleon, 15 million copies. How much did Schedule 1 sell? Right? How much did Schedule 1 sell? Schedule 1 did fucking numbers. Yeah, so much HR is evil. All HR is evil. This is, when you hear the CEO of Xbox basically say indie is a threat, what have we been saying for the last 2 years? She just straight up sent an email to all of her employees, and honestly, probably the top dogs above her as well. Because remember, she's just the CEO of Xbox. There's people at Microsoft that she still reports to, saying, we are losing to motherfucking indie games. Some fat Dorito-crusted dude in his goddamn basement who's making you doing his coding after he's done with his day job be dropping games that are selling 15 million fucking copies. They're beating our shit. When have you ever heard a CEO of a massive conglomeration say stuff like this? This is bananas. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. Bam. We've all talked about acquisitions. We don't like acquisitions. Consolidation is the death of every industry. So when she says we can't do it, nor are we interested in doing it, don't want to consolidate. Hey, we're done buying shit. Buying shit doesn't just immediately translate to sales. Disney bought Star Wars. How'd that work the fuck out for them? Disney bought Marvel. Guess what? That brand is in the toilet now. There is no world in which consolidation, acquisitions, where that is helping the industry. And she acknowledges that. We've also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. That in and of itself is funny. But this next line, this next line's a bar. In a typical year, we lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. Oh my God! What? 64 cents lost for every dollar invested. Imagine having to explain that to your shareholders. Imagine having to explain that for every dollar invested, you lost more than half of it. And now imagine being the CEO of Xbox and saying that publicly. Holy shit. As we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open development tools and audiences to realize their vision. Now she's going to be talking about the studio change-ups. Shill's out there punching the air right now, leaving comments like Xbox is fine, it's doing amazing, super profitable, nothing is wrong. She just gave us numbers, son. Just gave us fucking numbers. How long? How long have these been the numbers? I can't imagine it was like this prior to Game Pass. I'm not saying it was successful or profitable before Game Pass, but I guarantee you Game Pass just skyrocketed these fucking numbers. Wonder if Microsoft regrets Xbox. There are rumors. I do want to point out there are rumors that Microsoft is planning to spin Xbox off to its own subsidiary company that, while they still control, would be its own company instead of just its own department. So who knows if that's on the table or not? That could come with the restructuring. Xbox house is burning down. Good. The Xbox. Asha is out here committing fucking arson. She's burning down her own home, going to collect the insurance money and rebuild a better fucking home. At least that's my hopes. That's my wants. She's burning this bitch down. She's absolutely burning this bitch down. But that's not a bad thing. I want her to burn this bitch down and then collect that insurance money and build you a fucking mansion. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP catalog and runway for the next games. They're straight up cutting them out. Compulsion and Double Fine are just getting cut out. And you want the funny thing about that? They ain't gonna last. The only reason Compulsion, I don't know too much about Double Fine's financial situation, but the only reason Compulsion has lasted this long because that money Xbox was giving them. Money Xbox gave them for shit like South of fucking Midnight. Without that Big Daddy Xbox money, that Big Papa Microsoft money, how are they going to sustain themselves? They're not. You will be seeing the eviction notice soon, and Compulsion Games will be kicked out of its cracked-in apartment and become a crack hole under the bridge on the south side. Just where they belong, because they made South of fucking Midnight. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs have entered terms to join new ownership with funding to complete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. So they're leaving Xbox to some other new management. Who knows where? That's the way I'm seeing it, at least. They're in Montreal. They can trim the fat and survive on subsidizing money. Maybe. I don't think so. Look, I get the Canada be giving out money like candy and shit, but that's got to dry up at some point. Without the backing of a conglomeration like Microsoft, I don't think they will. I'm going to be real. I don't think they will survive on just the subsidization money. I truly don't. They might for a year or two, but they are effectively just delaying the inevitable. They are delaying the inevitable. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, I don't know. They're obviously not sticking with Microsoft. Who knows who their next buyer, management, whatnot is. State of Decay is already cooked. State of Decay is cooked. In France, Arcane's management is beginning required consultation with Works Council to review potential strategic options. So Arcane is on the chopping block. We don't know what they're going to go. Assuming I'm reading this properly, the way this is sounding to me, Arcane, Xbox is not committed one way or the other to yet, but it could go either way. And if I were Xbox, yeah, just fucking cut them. Cut them. You go through the consultation, sure, do everything that is, get your books all proper. Fucking cut them. We are also making reductions across other units. and in some cases, shifting investments to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary in size across Activision, Bethesda / ZeniMax. What I tell y'all, like a week, 2 weeks ago, there was a report that Asha stormed into the Bethesda headquarters, was like, hey, where the fuck is Fallout and Elder Scrolls? Where's Fallout and Elder Scrolls? Where are your only 2 IPs that make fucking money? Yeah, maybe you can throw Doom in there as well. Fine, whatever. Fucking Doom in there as well. But y'all, people don't think of Bethesda and think of fucking Doom. Yeah, the recent Doom games are popular. But that's not what you think of when you think of Bethesda. You think of Elder Scrolls and you think of Fallout. There was rumors floating around that Asha walked into Bethesda and was like, so where are we with the fucking Fallout games? Where are we with Elder Scrolls 6? So now she's like, you know what? You ain't been getting your shit done? Fired. Reductions at Bethesda. Only keeping the motherfuckers there. They're going to actually put out games. When was Elder Scrolls 6 announced and shown off that teaser trailer? Wasn't it when E3 was still around? I'm pretty sure it was the final year of E3. So like 2018, I think? We got the Elder Scrolls 6 reveal 8 years ago. Bethesda is fucked. Todd Howard shaking in his little boots, cowering at the Indian AI woman. Blizzard, King, Mojang, Xbox Game Studios, none of our first-party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. Right. Good. I actually think this is a good thing. None of these games are being canceled. Why is that good? Leon, nobody wants Fable. Who the fuck wants Fable? Nah, trust me. These games, the ones that have already been announced, they still need to come out. They need to come out. And when they fail, which they inevitably will, there will be games that come after, made by these smaller teams. That obviously are still under the employ of Xbox, that are hopefully are the ones that actually, passed the check, made their charisma rolls, made their skill checks, and they were able to stay in and actually work on games. And when those games come out and they're good and they're quality and they possibly sell, that is the direct confirmation Xbox needed. Yeah, problem was the bloat. I thought Todd Howard could do no wrong, Leon. My love for Todd Howard is half true, half a meme. I love Todd Howard as a personality. I do not think he's a particularly good leader. I just love his personality. His personality is super fun. So yeah, my love of Todd Howard is like half meme, half real. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. I know some of y'all been in this position. You're like, oh, I have to report to the boss every day. That means you're in trouble. That means you're in trouble. Like when Mojang and King have to report directly to Asha, that is her saying, I have got my eye on you so fucking close. I want to watch every little thing you do. Because the moment you fuck up, you're going to hear about it. We've all been there at one point or another in our lives with a job. We have. Yep. Mommy's home. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest by monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox. Second, we'll reset our platform. We know the great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. This is objectively true. This, by the way, is objectively true. Think about computers. Just in general, think about computers, right? She means business? No, she means technology. Like, computers used to be the size of a house. We didn't make computers bigger to make more computational power. We made shit smaller. We need the microchip. Now the fucking cell phone in your pocket has more power than than anything that was around in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. As technology gets more physically condensed, it gets better. So obviously what I'm saying is, as a physical reality, She's using it metaphorically, but it's still true. Get simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Bro, I've talked about my hatred of middle management. I've talked about my hatred of middle management. But at no point have I ever seen a business whose middle management like one of them Shaggy sandwiches from Scooby-Doo, where each like fucking layer of the sandwich would be middle management. It's like you got your bread, and then you got your tomato, and then your meat, then your lettuce, then your cheese, then tomato, then meat, then lettuce, and eventually, you got like 14 stacks of that before the bottom piece of bread, and Shaggy somehow like unhinges his jaw like an anaconda and puts all that shit in there. 14 layers of management is fucking ridiculous. I've never heard of that before. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation. 40 bloat. That is bloat. Imagine telling somebody, that's not even bloat, by the way. That's just straight up fat. Equate this to weight. Let's say the beginning of this generation was, 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago. If you walked up to somebody and you're like, yeah, I'm 40% heavier now than I was 5 years ago. Yeah, you fat bitch. You're fucking fat. 40% is insane. Even as our player base and playtime have declined. Oh! She admits people are not playing at all. It's not even about Game Pass. It's not like, they're not just buying games. No, the player base has decreased. The playtime has decreased. People are putting in, there are less people, and they're putting in less hours. People have just objectively been walking away from Xbox. Now, to be fair, PC gaming has been rising. PC gaming has been rising, so like there's 2020, that didn't matter for my hypothetical. Anyway, yes, PC has been rising. PlayStation, at least on paper, consoles have sold very well comparatively to Xbox. This is devastating. And she's laying it all out there. That complexity has slowed decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify. We will reduce management layers to no more than 5, and where possible, 3. Do you realize how insane these cuts are? Like people, and I'm one of these, to be fair. I'm one of these. People want to talk about, these layoffs and whatnot. Yeah, layoffs are good. Layoffs are important. I like layoffs. But when we talk about, they lost 3,000 people. They lost 800 people. It doesn't matter how many they lost. It matters what they lose. Quantity over quality and all that. If the vast majority of what's being cut is fucking middle management, that's quality, baby. That's quality, baby. Cut all that middle management. You want to go from 14 layers of middle management down to preferably 3, max 5. That is enough to just get me rock hard right now on stream. I can't stand up. If I need to go take a piss right now, I would have to turn off my camera. That is that destruction of bureaucracy that gets my not nihilistic. That's the absolute fucking wrong word. My anarchist little heart just ever so flowing and beating. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individual contributors focused on building, player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved with the work while developing their teams. So, direct supervisors, which is the proper way to manage, and directly responsible individuals, DRIs, who own key decisions and outcomes. We will streamline how we work across our tools with cleaner code base, shared services, and 50% reduced vendor spend. Less outsourcing. Less outsourcing. Do you guys understand? You guys understand what code she's cracked? Do you guys understand the code that Asha cracked? It's not anything new. Just go back to doing fucking game development how they were doing it in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Oh, we're going to have less direct, we're going to have, less middle management. We're going to have creatives making creative decisions, and we're going to not outsource as much as possible. Welcome to fucking gaming in 1998. That's cracking the code. What have we all been saying? Games didn't used to take 8 goddamn years to make. Why didn't they take 8 goddamn years to make? It's not because technology has gotten so advanced now that it just takes longer. No, it's just that we don't need middle management. We don't need bureaucracy. You need devs that know how to do their fucking job. You need leaders that know how to fucking delegate. It's that goddamn simple. Yes, Elon cut Twitter's workforce by 90%, and Twitter's just as good now. Actually, it's better now than before he was in charge. Third, we're resetting how we operate. As Xbox grew our headcount, we became far more fragmented. Teams, studios, and functions often operate independently. It became hard to work towards a shared goal, make the right trade-offs, get things done. For the first time, we're establishing a chief operating officer with end-to-end P&L responsibility across content, hardware, platform, and services. Helen Xiang, it sounds like a foreign woman. No, Helen's a pretty white name. Could be a white gal that married an Asian. Either way, it's a woman. I don't like women in power. I don't. Asha, you the exception to the rule, but I want to see other women in power. This is a red flag. Has been promoted to this role and will report directly to me. Over nearly 2 decades at Xbox, Helen has helped build some of our most important businesses, from Xbox Live to leading Mojang and the Minecraft franchise. Okay, you know what? She might be pretty qualified. Those are both big deals. Might be qualified. She'll bring our businesses together under one operating model, making sure we make clear investment decisions, learn from our successes and failures, and hold ourselves accountable for the results. It is more important to learn from your failures than your success. Both are important, but it's more important to learn from your failures than your success. And frankly, this email to me does in fact like make me think they are learning from their failures. So you know what? Step in the right direction. Don't forget, commies lie and they're infested with commies still. Yeah, but I mean, there's no fixing that. At least not right now. Baby steps. Baby fucking steps. CFH90 with a member for 10 months. I'm all for this, but I'll remain apprehensive until I have Elder Scrolls 6 in my hands. I hope you understand, CFH. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be dog shit. It is. These changes are coming now. Elder Scrolls 6, sorry, there's no saving it. Way too far, assumingly, in development. All the bad habits, bad decisions, bad players. No. Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to show you if Xbox has fixed itself. It's too late for that. I hate to be, but I appreciate 10 months membership. I do. I appreciate 10 months membership. Thank you. Thank you, Dave McCarthy, who is retiring after 17 years with Xbox. Dave has played a defining role in building the platform that millions of players rely on every day and has been a trusted partner throughout many of the biggest moments in Xbox history. We wish him all the best. These changes are about a bigger future for Xbox, not a smaller one. The next decade of gaming will be larger, more global, and more creative than anything we've seen before. This year, we'll invest as much in Xbox as we ever have, but we'll invest with the greater focus, greater discipline, and greater clarity, all in the service of making Xbox where the world plays and creates. Now, this is a bunch of word salad. To me, this just sounds like we're going to continue spending money. We're going to spend it in the right way. I'll believe it when I see it. Shit like this kind of needs to be in these corporate form letters, but whatever. I want Xbox to be one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day and gives everyone the opportunity to create and connect. I know we can achieve this goal. Xbox has many of the most beloved franchises in entertainment history, talented studios around the world, and will return to growth in 2027. Like, we're halfway through 2026. She knows that we ain't growing in 2026. Like, hey, no, we don't have enough time. We're halfway through the year. We'll start our growth in 2027. And the thing is, I'll give my thought in a moment. History is full of companies that mistake longevity for inevitability. We will not be one of them. Asha. Banger. Bars. Bars for days. And you want to know why I think this is true and why I think this is how things will turn out? This isn't just like blind faith. Because y'all know I'm an Xbox hater. Anyone that's watching me stream, Anyone that's watched me on Saturday Night Hypnosis, anyone that's watched any of my gaming videos or whatnot, y'all know I fucking hate Xbox. I was a massive fan of the original Xbox. I loved the OG Xbox. I'm of the rare minority that actually did not like 360 as much. I still like it. 360 was still awesome. I still loved it, but I actually prefer the original Xbox to the 360. That's neither here nor there. Both were great. Then after 360, Xbox just fell off, dog. Xbox just fell the fuck off. Xbox fucking sucked after the 360. I've hated them for so many goddamn years. But I hate Sony so much more now. I hate Sony so much more now. Now I want to see Xbox win just to spite them. I want to see Xbox win just to spite them. And I think they're actually going to own up to this. I do. I think they're going to follow through. And here's why. Asha want to be CEO of Microsoft. She is not satisfied with CEO of Xbox. She's not. She wants to run the whole motherfucking company. And the only way she's going to get that, the singular way she will get that chance, is to turn Xbox around and make it a fucking powerhouse. Yeah, I need you to imagine pitching yourself as the next CEO of Microsoft. Here's your mic drop. Yeah, when I took over, we were losing 64 cents on every dollar invested. Now we're making $2 on every $1 invested. CEO. CEO right there. That's how you win. That's how you win. I think she's going to do it. I do. And I'm, y'all know me. I'm not like out here rooting for consoles or nothing. But I'm very interested in where this goes. I can't believe we just saw a public shakeup like this. This is Asha Sharma out here pulling what Trump did in 2016. Just started blasting shit out to the public that the public was not ready to hear. I do not give a fuck if she's not a gamer. Here's the dealio. Anyone that thinks that the leader of these companies need to be a gamer, you're an idiot. All right? Reggie was not a gamer. Reggie was the fucking CEO of like Pizza Hut or something like that. If you think you need to be a gamer, yo, shout out Badger. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate you, homie. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. What up, ABF? I do not care that Asha is not a gamer. You do not need to be a gamer to make good fucking to be a good leader for a gaming company or any industry. Leaders change leadership positions to different industries all the time. You just need to be a good leader. It really is that simple. I do not give a fuck if she's not a gamer or whatnot. There's plenty of movies made by directors that, you know, didn't work in the original field or didn't work on the original film or even have interest in it or whatnot that made objectively good movies. We've all seen plenty of times where just because you're a fan of the thing doesn't make you good at making it. Dave Filoni, I have no doubt, is a massive Star Wars fan. Massive Star Wars fan. Unfortunately, the fact that he's a massive Star Wars fan is the problem. He just sits there and smashes his action figures together that are his favorites and calls that shit Star Wars now, and he's in charge. So I don't give a fuck if Asha is not a gamer. She 1000% could still be a good leader and and bring Xbox to the point where it, you know, can finally be a viable fucking brand again. So anyone that says she's not a gamer, you are thinking so small picture. So small picture, you shouldn't be allowed to have opinions or rights.